From us.
Media briefing on behalf of the Tata Group. With me on this call are Mr. R. Mukundan, Managing Director and CEO of Tata Chemicals, and Mr. Ajoy Mishra, the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Global Beverages Limited. Before I hand over this call to Mukundan and Ajoy for their observations and detailed comments, I would like to make a few opening comments to set the context for this briefing. Today, Tata Global Beverages and Tata Chemicals, both companies of the Tata Group, have announced an important transaction to combine their consumer businesses to create a unified and focused consumer products company. This announcement is a consequence of decisions arrived at by the boards of directors of Tata Global Beverages and Tata Chemicals Limited at their respective meetings held earlier today. There are some key aspects of this announcement that I would like to present to you. Tata Global Beverages Limited is to be renamed Tata Consumer Products Limited to reflect the new strategic direction of the company. The combined entity will bring together key brands such as Tata Salt, Tata Tea, Tata Sampann, Tetley, Himalayan Water and 8 O'Clock Coffee under a single umbrella. This combined entity will reach over 200 million households, giving it an unparalleled ability to leverage the Tata brand in consumer products. Tata Chemicals will focus on innovative science-based chemistry solutions and products with several exciting growth drivers for the future in this space. We therefore believe that this move will create significant value creation for all stakeholders through greater scale and synergy in two very focused businesses. At the core of this announcement, ladies and gentlemen, is the very large India consumer opportunity. The fast-moving consumer goods segment in India, referred to commonly as FMCG, is valued at more than 5 lakh crore rupees per annum and is poised to grow significantly in future years. Key drivers of rapid growth in this market will include India's increasing affluence, which leads to enhanced demand for trustworthy and aspirational brands of consumer products across several categories. As many of you are aware, the number of upper middle class and middle class households in this country is poised to increase significantly over the next decade. Not just increased affluence, but also key consumer trends such as the increased focus on health and wellness amongst Indian consumers will fuel the demand for these consumer products. In addition, demographic trends, in particular the fact that India will continue to have amongst the youngest populations in the world over the next few decades, will also be a key trend to watch out for. The unified consumer entity that is being announced today will provide a strong platform to leverage this big opportunity and to provide Indian consumers with trustworthy products of their preference, building on the strong legacies already created by market-leading brands such as Tata Salt and Tata Tea. The Tata brand is India's most valued and trusted brand, and the combined entity will have the unique opportunity to take this brand into millions of Indian homes by offering a range of Tata branded consumer products that provide excellent quality and value to Indian families. A few words about the transaction itself. The boards of directors of Tata Global Beverages Limited and Tata Chemicals Limited at their respective meetings held today have approved the demerger of the consumer products business of Tata Chemicals into Tata Global Beverages through a National Company Law Tribunal NCLT approved scheme of arrangement. The appointment date for the demerger will be the 1st of April 2019. Pursuant to the scheme, each shareholder of Tata Chemicals Limited will get 1.14 new equity shares of TGBL for every one equity share held in Tata Chemicals Limited. That is, a shareholder holding 100 shares in Tata Chemicals Limited will receive 114 shares, 114 shares in TGBL. The respective boards have approved the entitlement ratio based on the recommendations of independent valuer. In addition, just to clarify, Tata Chemicals Limited shareholders will continue to hold their shares in Tata Chemicals Limited and will get new TGBL shares in the above ratio. Let me just illustrate this. This means that a shareholder who owns 100 shares in Tata Chemicals Limited today will retain his or her 100 shares in Tata Chemicals Limited and will also, in addition, obtain 114 equity shares in Tata Global Beverages Limited. This proposed transaction will create a focused consumer products company with a combined turnover and EBITDA of rupees 9,099 crores and rupees 1,157 crores respectively, which are the figures for the 12-month period ended March 31, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, the combination of the two consumer-focused businesses is a win-win for the shareholders of Tata Chemicals Limited and Tata Global Beverages Limited, as they will both get a larger share of the foods and beverages market and a broader exposure to the attractive and fast-growing FMCG sector. Tata Chemicals Limited shareholders will also retain their ownership of a focused science-based solutions company with a leading portfolio of products with basic and specialty chemicals and strong cash flows to support future growth. Therefore, this transaction will lead to two focused companies of the Tata Group, one in the consumer sector and the other in the science-based and chemistry sector, both with mandates for strong future growth. With these few context-setting remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for joining us on this call. May I now request Mr. R. Mukundan, MD and CEO of Tata Chemicals Limited, to offer his opening remarks. He will be followed by Mr. Ajay Mishra, the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Global Beverages Limited. We will thereafter be happy to also field a few questions. Thank you very much, and over to you, Mukundan.
Thank you, Harish, and thank you all for joining this media briefing call. While Harish has set up the overview and rationale and the roadmap which we have for this transaction, let me come at it from the perspective of what it means for the stakeholders of Tata Chemicals Limited. Today is a milestone in our journey, the Tata Chemicals consumer journey. The boards have decided to combine the respective consumer product businesses to create a new entity to build on the pioneering legacies of two companies. Our primary aim was to address the nourishment and wellness needs of the increasingly aspirational conscious class of customers with an intent to offer them a trustworthy product synonymous with Tata brand. And that journey will now continue with greater vigor in the Tata Consumer Products Limited, which is the enterprise which will be founded on the basis of the arrangement which will be beneficial to all stakeholders. We are absolutely pleased that the combined entity will have unparalleled access to about 200 million households, over 2.5 million retail points, and are the largest consumer footprints in the country. Before I add further details on the transaction, much of which has been said by Harish, I would like to briefly state the consumer business of Tata Chemicals consists of Tata Salt, an iconic brand with 65% market share amongst national brands, and a brand that in the last 12 months has sold over 1 billion packets, the first time in the history of any branded product of this category. Tata Salt continues to be ranked amongst the leaders in many surveys, including brand equity survey for food category. It has been either number one or number two, and most of the time it has been number one brand in that category. In addition, our Tata Sampann brand, which has gone slew of new products in terms of wholesome pulses, purest of spices, healthy value-added products like low oil absorbed besan, multi-grain khichdi, chilla mix, pakoda mix, sattu, and more recently protein-rich, delicious snacks. The recently launched Tata DX, our detergent brand, will also transition to the new enterprise, the Tata Consumer Products Limited. So will Tata NX, a zero sugar, and a range of nutri supplements. This entire portfolio now transitioning to the combination last year had a turnover of about 1,900 crores and a EBIT of about 310 crores. And this has been growing at a very, very healthy clip, and we expect the rate of growth to accelerate further in the new combined entity. Hence, for our consumers, this is truly a defining moment, as this new entity will be top bearer of Tata Group's expansive plan for becoming one among the leading companies in consumer products, aiming to establish leadership position in several categories within the next few years. Second, most importantly for our shareholders, this arrangement is extremely beneficial, as not only they benefit from unlocking the value residing in the consumer business, but now they are part of growth trajectories of two companies, one in consumer product space, another one in leading science-based chemistry solutions. Tata Chemicals has already lined up, as you know, investments to the tune of 3,500 crores in expanding current segments in basic chemicals, as well as rapidly growing exciting arena of specialty chemicals, while continuing to benefit from the arrangement which has been agreed between the two companies in being the manufacturer and supplier of Tata Salt to the new entity. More specifically, Tata Chemicals shareholders, once the scheme of arrangement is approved, will get 114 shares of Tata Consumer Product Limited, which is in the process of being going through a process of NCLT. Hence, Tata Chemicals shareholders will continue to get benefit of growth of both TCL and TCPL, the Tata Consumer Product Company. To the communities around the globe in which we operate, we'll continue to invest in their overall socio-economic well-being and development, with focus on sustainability, health, and livelihood, so as to improve their overall quality of life. So our employees, it offers greater and wider career opportunities, as both companies have ambitious growth plans which will open up possibilities of taking higher responsibilities, as well as vertical and lateral career transition across companies. Further adding, let me also say about Tata Chemicals business, which will be the business which we will focus going forward, which is science-based solution company. Currently, there are external changes in the environment which are extremely positive for this business, including supply chain pressures from China and increasing thrust towards sustainability. And this company, Tata Chemicals, is best positioned to benefit from both demand surge and margin uptake driven by demand-supply tightness. The company post the transactions will be having a turnover of about 12,000 crores with an EBIT of about 1,400 crores and healthy cash generation. In addition to that, we will work towards, while growing the business about 2.5 times the current size, we will also change the proportion of the business. Currently, 20% of the business is specialty products, 80% of the business is the basic chemistry products. We will rebalance this to be 50-50 over a period of time, and the time span we have in our mind is about 5 to 6 years. Our basic chemistry products, soda ash, bicarbonate, and salt, continue to have strong market demand and pricing power. You will be aware we have committed over 2,000 crores towards this business for investments in Midnapur and debottlenecking investments around the world, both in UK as well as USA. Our specialty chemistry products are poised for rapid growth. Ravis, our agri-science arm, has committed an investment of 800 crores to grow aggressively. Our nutri-science business has committed an investment of 250 crores in a facility in Nellore, and that facility is close to commissioning in the coming months, and we have already stated in several of the calls that the commercial launch will be towards the end of the year, and we should be tracking certain revenues coming out of this nutrition science business, which is one of our youngest businesses coming out of Innovation Center in Pune. Our material science business plant in Karagur is progressing well, and we should also see in a couple of months the revenues tracking from this unit. The most important area which we've been focusing on has been the energy storage business and lithium battery. And this business, I'm happy to say, is making very good progress in partnership with our customers who are focusing, especially the automotive customers who are focused on EV transition from the current oil and fuel-based car engines, vehicle engines. Hence, all our pillars in specialty chemistry, which is agri-science, nutrition science, and material science and energy storage science, are all on a strong growth trajectory. Hence, the shareholders of Tata Chemicals are poised to benefit not only from the benefits of the strong growth trajectory charted out for the chemistry-based business, they will also benefit from a very large platform being laid out for the consumer product business. With these opening remarks, I would like to invite my colleague, Ajoy Mishra, Managing Director and CEO of Tata Global Beverages, to address you, and later on we'll take any queries from your side. Thank you.
Thank you, Harish, and thank you, Mukundan. And hello, everyone on the call. I speak on behalf of my management team and all my colleagues in Tata Global Beverages when I say that we are most excited at the opportunity that this transaction presents for us. You've heard Harish speak, you've heard Mukundan speak. There is so much excitement that is out there, and we are equally, if not much more, energized with this transaction, where the two boards have passed such a significant decision. And what excites us most is this creation of a common platform for the consumer businesses of the Tata Group and bringing them together under a single entity. We have always aspired to have growth in a broader categories, and this is the first of those steps, truly a defining moment. With tea, coffee, water, and now salt and staple products and food products and spices, we will truly be a consumer-centric food and beverage FMCG company to start with, in the space of healthy, natural, good-for-you products in this wide portfolio that we will be putting on the platform to start with. Just to step back and also mention that we are a global consumer company, and we also have international power brands, and we do operate in key international markets also, with largely tea, but also branded coffee. And we have a host of other businesses internationally, from where in the recent past, we have rationalized some of our non-core businesses, and we have restructured some of the divisions to unlock value and to reinvest strongly to focus on these power brands of Tetley, 8 O'Clock Coffee, Good Earth, Tea Pigs, and also Himalayan, which we are taking overseas. Our best practices and success stories have traveled across markets, and we've created some really innovative products such as vitamin-fortified teas, cold infusions, fruit and herbal tea formulations, and we continue to leverage those learnings and wherever appropriate, bring them to India wherever opportunity permits. Also, our Tata Tea brand has a strong presence in the Indian diaspora across the globe. In fact, we will be able to leverage that also for some of the products that are coming from this table now in terms of the categories and products that this CPG group of Tata Chemicals brings onto the platform. Also to say and reinforce that our investments in non-branded businesses will continue to be unabated, and as we welcome the consumer brands from Tata Chemicals in our fold. In fact, we recently invested in Tata Coffee, a subsidiary, in setting up a freeze-dried coffee plant in Vietnam. While we celebrate another milestone today, I want to take a moment to reflect on the same pioneering spirit that was mentioned by Mukundan earlier. We started off as a plantation company that launched Tata Tea in polypack, fresh from the plantations for the first time, and revolutionized the branded tea market. Took the market by storm, soon became market leaders, while also adding coffee plantations to our portfolio. Soon after, in 2000, we dared to go global and made India's 10th largest acquisition by value, Tetley. Since then, we've never looked back, and growth has always been part of our quest. We also thereafter formed 2 joint ventures in India, one with Pepsi, one with Starbucks, all doing very well. Recently also made a small acquisition of a regional tea brand in Rajasthan, which was just announced a few weeks back. And going forward, the growth of our business will always come on the fundamental foundation of growing the community that we are part of it. And even as we grow with newer product categories, I would like to assure you that our DNA that draws from the Tata legacy, as well as our values that include consumer centricity, collaborating to succeed, and doing good will remain unchanged. Thank you once again for joining the call at short notice, and I too now invite questions from you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question at this time may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. To ask a question, please press star 1 now. We have a first question from the line of Kritika Saxena from CNBC TV18. Please go ahead.
Hi, gentlemen. Congratulations. It's a landmark day indeed. My first question to Mr. Mukundan and Mr. Mishra. Sir, could you give us a breakup of the margins at this point in time? You already gave us the overall rationale. Can you help us understand how the margins would be broken between Tata Chem and the new Tata Products company?
So, thank you for that question. Let me just come back to you with a specific answer in terms of what it has been for the year ended, because we're very close to that. The consumer business of Tata Chemicals had 1,870 or approximately 1,900 crores of revenue and about 330 crores of PBT. And that is the business which is getting transferred. Obviously, you need to factor growth for the coming year. We don't make forward-looking statements. And the entity which is residual after this transaction in Tata Chemicals would have a revenue of about 11,000 crores and a profit before tax of 1,400 crores. So that's really the entity we are talking about, and the coming year will also see both these entities grow. You can add that up, through that up with the TGBL numbers of last year. That would go to the figure which Harish first spoke about, which is 9,090 crores for the combined entity, and about 1,157 crores as the PBT for the year, EBITDA for the year.
Okay. As far as the synergies are concerned, whoever could answer this, could you help us give a value to the synergy benefit once the deal is completed? What would be the cost saving essentially?
Really, I think this is not the way we are looking at this deal. We are really looking at two levers. One is the revenue lever, because as these two enterprises and really the group is focused on growth and building scale, and we will be focusing on the growth lever. And the growth lever will be several of them, which is our brand power, distribution multiplier, and also focused new product development, and also stronger cash flows, because the additional cash which is available to this entity will allow us to grow faster. In terms of, while you ask of cost, I would not put it as cost, I would call it as efficiency. As we grow, we will get more efficient, so there is superior terms of trade with channel partners, supply chain opportunities, and scale benefits in marketing and packaging. And broadly, we expect about 2 to 3% of the range of the synergies which will come out in the next 18 to 24 months of the combined entity.
Okay. Sir, earlier you had indicated, Mr. Mukundan had indicated that your target or your vision for the consumer business was reaching 5,000 crore rupees by roughly 2021 or 2022. Currently, the business is 1,747 crore rupees. So, would you be in line to reach that vision? And I would actually ask for what would be the consolidated vision for the new rebranded entity by 2022?
So obviously there are numbers there out in terms of the vision made for TTBL, which would stand, and we stand by the commitment which we have made, which is about 5,000 odd crores, and we've been stating this from time to time. The large part of this growth comes from the inherent growth in salt, and then also about 1,000 odd crores coming from pulses and 500 odd crores coming from spices, and the balance coming from new categories which will enter. We will probably have to rework these numbers. Most probably the numbers will be moved upwards.
Okay, so the targeted value for Tata Consumer Products by 2022 would be?
No, I think we will.
Yeah. So thanks for that question. I think it's very early to put a target for 2022 to the unified entity. As you're aware, the entity has just been announced today. Happy to come back and speak to media at a later date, on what those kind of targets would be.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. One last final question. Is this a part of the larger plan to look at creating an FMCG behemoth? If yes, then what happens to, for instance, Tata Coffee? You have several other consumer businesses as well.
So again, on behalf of the Tata Group, let me say, just like I mentioned at the beginning, yes, one of the key objectives of what the announcements which have been made today is to put in place a consolidated platform for the consumer packaged businesses of the Tata Group, which are essentially the FMCG businesses. Like the managing director of Tata Global Beverages has already told you, a company like Tata Coffee, which is a subsidiary of Tata Global Beverages, is in the non-branded B2B space with both instant coffee as well as coffee plantations. Tata Coffee will chart its own journey of growth in those specific directions of non-branded products. And like Mr. Ajay Mishra, the MD of CGPL, has just mentioned to you, Tata Coffee has recently announced an investment in setting up a state-of-the-art freeze-dried instant coffee plant in Vietnam. And ambitions in that field will continue to progress even as the Tata Consumer Products Limited company continues to focus on the FMCG market in India. So these are two different growth streams, and both growth streams will accrue to the shareholders of the respective companies.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking my questions. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time and fairness to all participants, please restrict questions to 2 per participant. If you still have more questions, kindly join the queue afresh. We have next question from the line of Rasik Kamble from ET Now. Please go ahead.
Hi, gentlemen. It's actually Mubina Kapasi joining in from ET Now, and thank you for providing this opportunity to us to ask questions. Again, it's open to whoever can answer this question actually, but I want to know, would this deal be accretive, EPS accretive right from day one? Because yes, definitely on the margin front, you guys have spoken about how the financial profile does increase on the margins, on the revenue, but we're talking about shareholding dilution as well. So will it be EPS accretive from day one itself?
So we see this as being EPS accretive, yes. At this point in time, I can say that much.
So let me just say that for both the TCPL, which is Tata Consumer Product Limited shareholders, now there will be new shareholders of TC. Tata Chemicals will also hold the shares of TCPL. From all perspectives, with the greater strength both on the growth lever and the efficiency lever, this is very much poised to be EPS accretive, and we will come back with the specific numbers, but it is in line to achieving that. And if growth tracks the plans which we have, we are very sure that we have a great opportunity ahead of us.
Okay, so EPS accretive from day one, I'll go with that, right?
Yeah, so the only thing you need to do is for the shareholders of TCL, you need to add the EPS earnings in TCL, not the EPS earnings they will get in the shares which will get issued as part of TCL. So they need to add both. That's how we will come to the right thing.
Yeah, so you're quite right. Therefore, look at it from the perspective of the shareholders of Tata Chemicals Limited and the perspective of the shareholders of Tata Global Beverages Limited. For both those sets of shareholders, this will be an EPS accretive deal. And of course, because they will be two very focused companies now, one in the science space and one in the consumer space, both of them are targeting rapid growth for the future, which will only make it even more EPS accretive as we go forward.
Yeah, and thank you, Harish. I think one of the things we are banking on going forward, all these companies, because of scale and focus, will attract top-class talent. You know, people make all the difference, so we intend to be one of the best talent magnets for both talent in FMCG as well as in the space of the chemistry-led business, and that will drive even greater synergy outcomes than what we even see today on paper.
No, perfect.
Okay, all right. I also want to get in a word on the valuation. I mean, of course, it used to be a part of Tata Chemicals, so it's not easy to be able to decipher that from the annual report either. But if I have to put, you're offering 1.14 shares of Tata Global for every one share held in Tata Chemicals. So essentially, your value, that's the value you're attributing to the consumer business. Could you give us an EV per sales? What I'm trying to understand is how much is Tata Global paying? I mean, is it a fair amount they're paying?
No, this is not to be seen like that. It's a swap ratio, and really, both the valuers of the two companies and both the company boards have arrived at what is a fair value to be attributable to the businesses, and that has been used to arrive at the swap ratio. So you absolutely cannot track it to the share price because share price keeps moving on an everyday basis. So it will be a misnomer. I'd rather advise you to take a longer view of both businesses and arrive at the numbers.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, just one last question. What is the plan now for Tata Global Beverages? And also, what about Tata Coffee? I mean, are we going to be looking at any sort of transaction with Tata Coffee as well? Because Global still holds around 60%. So if we are looking at simplification of entire structure, why not roll in that business as well? I mean, I know it's a B2B business, but still, you're talking about foods, everything in one umbrella.
So, yes, there's been speculation, in the media that I have also read, but this transaction does not touch any of the B2B businesses that are part of our Tata Global Beverages. Tata Coffee is a company that we are investing in. It's a subsidiary of Tata Global Beverages. It continues to be in the B2B space. TGB will continue to play in the B2C space as a branded company, and we are so excited now that we have a bigger platform to play on, and already in one stroke we get so many food brands, Tata Salt being one of the most powerful consumer brands in the country with, reaching 145 million households. So for us, for TGB, we have a great beverage portfolio to which we now are getting these great brands. And in fact, when Tata Salt is already a mature brand in a category, all the categories that they are also in, such as pulses and derivatives, spices and condiments, snacks and in ready-to-cook under the Tata Sampann brand, these are all in the nascent trajectory with huge headroom. So we will continue to pursue a mix of B2B that continues as well as a much wider B2C platform. And by the way, in terms of Tata Coffee, Tata Coffee Limited is a supplier to us for instant coffee, which Tata Global Beverages already takes to market under a brand name of Tata Coffee Grand. We are small in that branded coffee space, but that again has huge headroom.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. Thank you so much once again for providing this opportunity, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Participants, kindly restrict questions to 2 per participant. We have next question from the line of Neha Tyagi from Business Television India. Please go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen, and congratulations on the merger. The first question is, when you say that this merger is on the way to becoming a more consumer-focused company, I'd like to understand whether you will be introducing more categories as far as the food business is concerned. You have pulses and you have salts and you have mixes, but apart from that, will you be investing in more categories going forward?
Yeah, I think let me address it. There's a product pipeline which I mentioned several times in my calls. That pipeline transitions to Tata Consumer Products, which they will continue to launch. We have a fairly disciplined approach to category launches, and we will continue to play and factor in that disciplined approach to growth and new category entry. But there's already a product pipeline, and we are aware, even as we are speaking, the most recent launch has been the Tata DX detergent, which is being launched, which is being test marketed in West Bengal. So we will come out from time to time with the various categories, and you can only expect more from this combined entity in the area of food as well as the other new areas which we will continue to explore. Let me also add that the Innovation Center in Pune will be the team which works on the food is going to be part of the transition agreement, which means this entity has access to the deep knowledge and expertise which our scientists have nurtured over a period of time, and they will continue to provide new ideas and new products for Indian consumer, which is focused, as Ajay has already highlighted, which is on health, wellness, and natural for use.
Sure. If you look at a merged entity right now, the combined revenue is about 9,000 crores. 20% is what the consumer business brings in. So going forward in the next 2 to 3 years, do we see this percentage 20% going up? Is there a specific target that you have in terms of the proportions as far as food and beverages is concerned? And secondly, can we also talk about consumer business and any plans to take them to international markets?
So on your first question, my understanding is. Let me clarify this. Okay, in my opening remarks, I stated that this is creating 2 focused platforms. One on science and chemistry, which is Tata Chemicals Limited, and one in the consumer products FMCG space, which is Tata Consumer Products Limited, the rechristened name of Tata Global Beverages. So as far as Tata Consumer Products Limited is concerned, virtually all the revenue will come from consumer products. And as far as Tata Chemicals is concerned, virtually all the revenue going forward will come from science and chemistry-based products. So the very rationale of this transaction is to create 2 very focused companies in 2 different spaces. On your second question of international brands, Mr. Ajay Mishra, the MD of TGBL, has already stated that in addition to being an Indian consumer branded company, international brands are very much part of TGB's growth voyage, and TGBL will continue to nurture and invest in those international brands which they currently have, which include brands like Tetley and 8 O'Clock Coffee and Buddha. So I'm just repeating what Mr. Ajay Mishra has already said. That's the way these 2 companies will be positioned.
Yeah. What I wanted to understand is the opportunity for the consumer products, that is your salt and the pulses and the mixes, an opportunity for them to go to the international market.
So let me comment, because very clearly we were in a nascent state of seeding the international market, mainly focused on Indian diaspora. That effort will continue. TGB has a very deep presence both in UK and Canada and several other markets. So obviously this new entity will get the benefit of access to those markets. So I only see this strengthening the access to Indian diaspora, as well as other opportunities which may come as they explore new products. Also, just to supplement what Harish has just now said, I think there is a lot of learning which we did get in the past from the international arm of TGV in terms of their ability to deal with modern trade, the modern technology in terms of the backbone, digital backbone. All those elements will continue to benefit the entity in India as India also travels the path of transition from a more modern trade and more digitally driven economy.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Participants kindly restrict questions to one per participant. We have next question from the line of PR Sanjay from Bloomberg News. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, congratulations for the landmark, arrangement. I have a question to Mr. Mukundan. Like, what is life after this consolidation for Tata Chemicals? Would you be also selling, the cement and other business, other unrelated business?
So I think the business which we wanted to exit, the business we wanted to acquire was Radish, which we acquired from Tata Global Beverages. So that was a transaction which we did. So we're returning a favor by giving them the consumer business. So the second one, of course, is in terms of the cement. You're right in saying that it is a very small part of our portfolio and we are not a significant player. Several times this has been looked at by our company and it is very, very integrated to our operations. It's part of our waste management process in Mithapur. Hence, we have concluded now to continue to run this business, but with very focused market presence in Saurashtra only. We don't have that brand anywhere. The Tata Shuddh brand of cement sells only in Saurashtra, where it commands a premium. And as far as exit from any existing business is concerned, our only business which we wanted to exit was fertilizer, which has absolutely created value for us. We are today, if you look at it, the standalone business is having a net cash of 2,500 crores in its book. Our international consolidated debt is down to 2,000 crores. This used to be close to 6,000 crores at one point in time, and we are rapidly becoming debt-free even on a consolidated basis. And our working capital has sharply fallen, and you would also see a rise in other income which has happened because of treasury income of the cash holdings which we have. But bulk of this cash holding is going to be invested in the 3,000 crore investment plan which we have, which will generate even greater return. So I think for us, the main headline, the exits are done. Now it's a focus on scale and growth. And as Harish has already highlighted, the chemistry and science-based businesses now will focus on growing the four pillars which I had highlighted. So would the consumer business do the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have next question from the line of Sagar Malviya from Economic Times. Please go ahead.
Hi. Just want to understand, what is the trigger? Why are you doing it now? Why not earlier? Or why not later?
I think the triggers are never internal. It's fundamentally external. I think Indian market is poised for rapid growth. Now we have businesses in both the enterprises which are of scale and size, which makes sense to bring them together. So clearly it has been done at this point of time. Also, we didn't want to do this till we established a clear leadership position in both the companies. Both the companies have achieved the leadership position in some of the key categories, and it's at that point you bring two companies together when both of them are strong. So really it is up to the boards, and they have opined that this is the right time. It also fits in with the vision which we have for the group of building scale and synergy, and really it's an outcome of a series of efforts and work which we've been doing together for several years.
Hi, this is Kala Vijayaraghwan here from the Economic Times too. I wanted to understand what will be the culture fit of the employees who move from Tata Chem to Tata Global Beverages. So how is that going to work out? And how many employees will be moving from this entity to Tata Global Beverages?
Kala, what a pleasure to hear your voice. This is Harish speaking. Thank you for being here today. And let me mention this, Kala, that what we mentioned is is very clearly that this is a amalgamation of two FMCG businesses under one platform. Right. And the before Mukundan and Ajoy speak, culture is always a very interesting and good subject to speak about. But the cultures in an FMCG business are cultures around branding, marketing, sales and distribution, supply chain, designing and getting products of very good quality and value, the right packaging. The cultures are built around many of these functions. So in my understanding as the brand custodian of Tata Sons, I want to say that the cultures in both the FMCG businesses of Tata Chemicals, the consumer packaged business, and of Tata Global Beverages, I would think are built around these pillars and are therefore similar cultures going forward into the market.
Yes, just to supplement, I was very surprised, Kala, you asked this question. Both are Tata companies. They have very, very similar cultures. Their value systems are same. Our employees anywhere have care for community, care for customers, and also care for all our partners, which is of the highest standard. And I think that care will never go anywhere an inch down because we are building the strong position on that basis. So clearly, this is an extremely happy fit. This question would have arisen if we were doing a structure which was outside the group. Within the group, I think it's a fortunate thing it is happening. We're also aware that certain of the elements which Harish spoke about, we need to build stronger as we go forward. There is always room to be more agile. There is always room to be more customer-centric than what we are. And that is an element which Harish always pushes all of us as being the brand custodian. And we have clear targets in both companies to improve upon that. So some of these elements which he spoke about as part of the FMCG group. But I want to tell you what drives all of us is passion and being a pioneer in every business. And we absolutely love being leaders. You pick our soda ash, we are leaders. You pick our salt, we are leaders. You pick our tea, we are leaders. Leadership position comes to us because we invest a lot in people. We invest a lot in our customers. We invest a lot in building the culture, which is a culture based on integrity, honesty, and all the good things which Tata Group stands for. And Kala, without repeating anything, one more example of how I think the cultures are very similar, because all our branding, marketing people believe in communicating and in communication platforms, which I think are best illustrated by Tata Tea's iconic Jago Re platform that it takes for Tata Tea, and the Desh Ka Namak platform that Tata Salt takes. So I think if you add all of this together, you would see that there is great culture fit. Of course, work needs to be done going forward in integration, but the platform already has common elements.
So, Kala, just to summarize that, it's a very interesting question and I think a very important question. I think the Tata brand, consumer focus, pioneering and community, all these create common values of culture across the company.
No, that's right. So I didn't mean it. What I also want to understand is how many employees will be moving from this entity to another, and is it such an easy transaction? While all of you are saying that it's a good one, don't you foresee any challenge at all going ahead? None?
Kala, I must tell you that 300 odd employees, 300 of our key employees will move to the new enterprise. Clearly, there is a very strong energy and buzz on this. I've been in touch with my employees already. There is a very positive momentum. In terms of any issues, if you ask Tata Chemicals, I can only speak for transactions which you've done. What we've done with even outside the group, whether it was a transaction done with Yana or Indorama, I can tell you that we continue to track our employees when they move, and we have a clear line of sight, and we are happy to say they are happy in their new homes, and I'm pretty sure that they will be happy in the home within Tata House.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have next question from the line of Sarjeet Mangat from Bloomberg Quint. Please go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a question on valuation here. Can you give us an idea of how you arrived at the valuation for the consumer business? Because some of the brokerages had valued your consumer business at 7,800 crores, and given the kind of swap ratio you have given us, it comes to around 5,800 crores.
So I think there is a series of valuation metrics used both in terms of DCFs or market multiples and all, which have been done by experts in this field. And I think our advisors in this case were E&Y and JP Morgan, and they have come to a range, and that range includes some of the numbers you spoke about, and the right fit for the swap ratio was arrived at by finding out what is the implied value of both TGB as well as Tata Chemicals. But Tata Chemicals is transitioning a business which is not listed. One of the things we are extremely sensitive is about the fact that TGB is listed, and hence it does provide a minute-to-minute value number. And I would not rush into picking a number which is today's closing or today's opening or tomorrow's opening. The number should be seen in light of the long-term value implied in the business. All I can say is that the boards were extremely satisfied with the presentation and the value range arrived at and the fairness opinion given. And we are happy to put forward this number in terms of the fair multiple. That's really what I would say. So it's not a specific size, it's an art and it's a range, but finally we are happy that it has landed at the fairest of value which we can think of.
Also, if you can give us an idea of how much of debt would be transferred part of this transaction, because the equity value is available, but how much of debt, and what is the kind of assets that will be transferred from Tata Chemicals to Tata Global Beverages?
There is no debt being transferred. This is the value of the business net of any. There could be some minor working capital, but the consumer business working capital is very, very minor. In fact, at times it is even negative working capital.
And what is the kind of assets which will be transferred?
There are fundamentally, you see, there is a 25-year manufacturing and supply arrangement. Hence, the salt production remains in the chemical business, chemistry business, which is already invested a lot. So that is not transitioning. The other things which are transitioning are all intangible assets. There is an asset in terms of brands. There is also contracts with our supply chain partners which are all transitioning. There are CFA arrangements, there are distributor arrangements which are all transition. In addition to that, the people and our innovation center investments in terms of, so bulk of the things are people and intangibles.
Is it possible for you to give us an idea of on the kind of gross margins the salt business works on? Because that would be a major one for Tata Global Beverages as well. So if you can give us a gross margin that Tata Salt, and when you say that you have a 25-year agreement, I assume that Tata Global would be paying a fee for the manufacturing of salt which will be transferred to them for marketing and sales.
So I don't want to make any forward-looking statement, but if you go to the segment reporting of TCL, you should get an understanding of what it is. Just look at the segment called consumer products and look at the segment called basic chemistry, and between them you should be able to identify all the numbers.
Okay. One final question.
Sorry to interrupt.
Tata Global, actually.
Mr. Sajid, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the operator. We will have to end this call now.
Okay.
You may please get back to the management on other platforms. Maybe
so as we bring this call to a close, and sorry we've run out of time, but as we bring this call to a close, I want to thank all of you from the media who have been on this call for engaging with us, for being here and for asking us questions. Thank you very much, and look forward to engaging in the future. Thank you.